Hey guys, you're watching BTech. My name is Basil. This video is all about how the HTC 10 stacks up against the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. Gonna jump into that, but before I do, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It's how you'll stay on top of all our videos, including our upcoming HTC 10 and Note 7 coverage. Right, onto these two phones, and in hand they feel expensive, and the HTC 10 is expensive, but not as expensive as the Note 7. Nowhere near. It's not quite as nice a design in my opinion, it isn't quite as ergonomic, it isn't water resistant as well. The Note 7 is IP68 certified, but it still has a lot of presence and it's a little bit more of a kind of masculine device. It looks kind of like a Batmobile, if that is what you are into. Side by side, they both feel really good, but the curved screen on the Note 7 really does give it a little bit more pop, as too does the S Pen. 4096 levels of pressure sensitivity on the screen and amazing interaction. I'll come on to that with the user interface section, but yeah. Design-wise, thumbs up on both. Note 7 edges ahead for me personally. What you also get is Quad HD screens across both. The SLCD5 panel on the HTC 10 isn't quite as great off angle, and generally speaking, I wasn't hugely impressed considering how wonderful SLCD screens have been in the past. But the Quad HD resolution is something I can't argue with, and the head-on experience is very, very good. That is compared to the Super AMOLED screen, which is mind-blowing pretty much from every which angle you look at it. Sure, the Edge screen gives a slight kind of vignetting along the sides, but I really don't care about that because the Edge adds so much beauty to the whole device and makes everything just come together magically. Inside the screens you've got Android, and it's HTC Sense versus TouchWiz with Android underneath both. Android's great, loads of app supports. HTC Sense is the most stock version we've seen. There's very little doubling up of applications, so Google's Photos application as opposed to HTC Gallery, etc., which is great. It means you've got a very clean experience. You've also got adoptable storage as well, which means you can have stacks 264 gig or 32 gig depending on the HTC 10 variant you go for, and that's perfect for gamers. The Note 7 has 64 gig under the hood, but the actual TouchWiz experience itself is beautiful because coupled with that S Pen, and you will be doing some great stuff, whether it's writing on the always on display, which means you can basically take a note when the screen's off, mind-blowing, or just taking notes in general. You can magnify areas, you can translate parts of the screen. It's really cool what Samsung's doing with that S Pen. Can't wait to test it out more thoroughly. That's really going to dictate how much you prefer one over the other. If you care about a pen, then the HTC 10 is probably not going to be the one for you, whereas if you just want as clean an experience as possible, then you may want to go for that. As far as the cameras go, 12 megapixel rear camera, you've got a front camera of 5 megapixels across both. They support manual controls out of the box as well, which is sweet. I do prefer the modes on the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 in terms of the Pro modes, just a little bit less fiddly, but the results being like the S7 and the HTC 10 results being very familiar are both going to be excellent and comparable if the S7 edges ahead slightly in certain respects. Both will shoot RAW as well. Thumbs up. Right, internals, you've got Snapdragon processors across both depending on your region. If you're in Europe, you'll have an Exynos processor. In the UK, that applies to you too. 4 gigabytes of RAM across both phones, like I said. 32 or 64 gigabytes of storage on the HTC 10 and adoptable storage as well with microSD card support. 64 gigabytes only on the Note 7 with no adoptable storage out of the box. You can probably hack that in there if you try really hard. Batteries, you've got 3000 milliamps on the HTC 10 versus 3500 milliamps on the Note 7, although you will probably need those extra milliamps given that additional screen size that you have. All the connections you're going to want under the sun across both of the phones: NFC, fingerprint scanners, USB Type-C, like I said, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, etc. So these two phones are really great. One is going to be perfect for any audiophiles, one is going to be perfect for any doodlers. Let me know what you think. Any thoughts in the comments section below. Like this video, click like, and if you like the channel, subscribe. Like I said, it's how you'll stay on top of everything we do.